Philippines journeyed through different periods of history, education changed, shaped by culture, colonization, and the struggle for identity. From the pre-colonial era to the Spanish, American, and Japanese regimes, and into the post-colonial present, schools become instrument of influence, control, and eventually empowerment.
Before the foreign colonizer arrived in the Philippines, Filipinos already had their own system of education. However, this education was informal and did not take place in the school or classroom. Learning happened at home and within the community. The parents, elder, and the tribal leaders play an important role in teaching children. They taught practical skills such as farming, fishing, hunting, and making handicrafts. These skills were necessary for survival and daily living. Children learn mostly by observing adults, listening to stories, and joining in everyday activities.
The main goal of education during this time was to prepare individuals to survive and contribute to their community. It aimed to preserve their culture, traditions, and to develop responsible members of society who could live in harmony with others and with nature.
Now, we will talk about the education in the Spanish period. Education at the time was mainly about religion, and the school were run by the Spanish priests and friars. Their lessons was focused only on teaching Christian beliefs, prayer, and good behavior. Few people in the Spanish period were allowed to study, like Spaniard and rich Filipinos. Most of the Filipinos did not attend schools. Few of them had access to school, and their learnings was limited to the basic subject. The main purpose of this education in the Spanish period was to spread the Christianity, and they will maintain their Spanish control.
And these are the goals of education or schools during the Spanish period. First is spreading Christianity. The schools aim to teach Catholic beliefs and convert Filipinos to Christianity. Before, religious instructions was the main focus of education. Second is supporting the Spanish colonial rule. The education was used to promote loyalty and obedience to Spain and the church. Back then, the students were discouraged from questioning the authority of Spain. Third is teaching basic literacy. The schools taught basic reading, writing, and arithmetic mainly for religious purposes. And also, learning was limited and not meant to develop the learner's critical thinking. Next is preparing a small educated elite. The higher education was given only to Spaniards, mestizos, and a few privileged Filipinos. They were trained for church and government-related jobs. And fifth, they reinforce social class differences. The education was not equally available to all Filipinos back then. Most people receive little schooling, while advanced education was reserved for the elite.
For the characteristic of American period here in the Philippines. So, during the American period, education became free and public, with English as the main language. Filipinos were slowly trained for self-government through the Philippine Assembly and later the Commonwealth. Literature shifted from Spanish to English, moving through phases of reinterpretation, imitation, and self-discovery. Cities like Manila were modernized with plans such as Burnham Plan. Overall, American influence promoted values of democracy, individualism, and industrial growth.
The main goal of education during the American regime was to promote democracy and train Filipinos to become good citizens. Schools taught the rights and responsibilities of people so that they would be prepared to participate in self-governance and eventually manage the country on their own. Another goal was to prepare Filipinos for economic independence. Education included vocational training, household activities, and discipline to give students practical skills that would help them maintain a strong economy when the time came to stand on their own. The American also expanded the education system to make it open for everybody. Elementary, high school, and college levels were established. And during the Commonwealth period, the 1935 Constitution provided free education across the country. Finally, education emphasized nationalism. Students learn about Filipino histories and learn which helped them develop pride in their heritage and love for their country. In summary, the goals of education during the American regime were to promote democracy, prepare citizens for livelihood, expand access to schooling, and strengthen nationalism.
Good day everyone! Today we'll cover the key characteristic of Philippine educational during the Japanese regime. First, it had a pro-Japanese, anti-Western focus. Western influences were removed and lessons promoted Japanese culture, values, and the Greater East Asia, prosperity spirit. Next, Nihongo was taught and encouraged, while English was discouraged or banned. School emphasized Asian values like discipline, obedience, respect, love for labor, and nationalism, with the core theme Asia for Asians. There was a shift to vocational training in agriculture, handicrafts, and basic skills to support the war economy and self-sufficiency. Access to schooling was limited. Many schools were closed or damaged, and there was shortage of teachers, books, and facilities. Military influence was strong with drills, physical training, and strict discipline. Some schools were repurposed as a camps or hospital. The curriculum was tightly controlled and censored. Textbooks, textbooks and subjects like history were rewritten for propaganda. Lastly, moral education focused on loyalty, perseverance, and unity, emphasizing loyalty to Japan and its new order. That's it. Thank you.
During the Japanese regime in the Philippines, the main goal of education was to reshape Filipino thinking to align with Japanese ideals and support the concept of the Greater East Asia co-prosperity spheres. Schools were used as tools for propaganda, emphasizing loyalty to Japan, obedience, discipline, and Asian solidarity, while rejecting Western influence, especially American values. Instruction focused on moral training, vocational skills, and practical work to support wartime needs, and the Japanese language, the Nihongo, was promoted. Overall, the education aimed to control minds, instill nationalism favorable to Japan, and prepare Filipinos to serve the interests of the occupying government.
The post-colonial period of education in the Philippines. This period began in 1946, after the Philippines gained independence from United States. Education during this time had several important characteristics. It was nationalistic and Filipino-centered, focused on values such as discipline, respect, and good manners, and used Filipino and English as language of instruction. The main goals of education in this period were to develop responsible and disciplined citizens, strengthen love for Filipinos, culture, and nation, impart values like respect and good manners, and prepare students for life and societal challenges.
And for the present era of Philippine basic education, covering K to 12 and beyond, is centered on delivering quality, equitable, culture-based, and comprehensive learning to every Filipino. With the implementation of the K to 12 system to match international benchmarks, this period emphasized holistic growth, equipping learners not only with foundational knowledge but also with essential 21st century skills, critical thinking abilities, and strong moral character, while ensuring that culture context and values are integrated into the educational experience.
Sa buod ng aming pagtalakay patungkol sa nangyari sa edukasyon sa Pilipinas, pinapakita ng kasaysayan na ang edukasyon sa Pilipinas ay patuloy na umuunlad mula sa informal sistema hanggang sa pagdating ng makabagong sistema na ang Republika. Sa bawat panahon, ginagamit ang edukasyon bilang kasangkapan sa paghubog ng kaalaman, kultura at pagkakakilanlan ng mga Pilipino sa bansa.